What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another Walking Dead video. It's Will here with Cricket Chicken. We got another Walking Dead video covering the trailer for episode 4 of Daryl Dixon. After somewhat of a strange but still decent episode 3, and they're setting up some stuff that I'm pretty sure is going to happen this next episode, and I don't think everyone's going to make it out alive, unfortunately, because in the last episode we did lose Sylvie. Not a major character, but someone we thought could have a little bit more screen time, but just the way they set it up and the part that she played in Laurent's little ceremony and everything, it was bound to happen, unfortunately. And I think with one of the, at least 3 more character deaths that we're going to have, I just think that we're in for a lot of shit to go down before we move on to our next season in Spain. But before we get into all that, if you enjoy videos like this, if you enjoy The Walking Dead, please be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. But anyways, let's jump into the breakdown for the episode 4 trailer. I think a lot of stuff's coming up, like I mentioned, and anyways, we'll talk about it as we get into it. This first snip that I grabbed from the trailer, this is after Isabel has been taken by Lo Sang and his people back to be more or less interrogated, but that he's trying to kind of work on her trust or work on their past friendship or what have you, and just try to get some information out of her of where Laurent could be, even though Daryl offered it up, but he just doesn't believe him, doesn't have any faith in him, because Daryl does not share his beliefs or anything like that. So Lo Sang has since taken Isabel to his office or one of their rooms within their castle and is trying to talk to her, trying to get her to relate to him, trying to get her to reflect back on everything that they've been through, all while Isabel, as we saw in the last episode, she took that little piece of the drain covering from the shower that they were chained up in that has been eroded off or rusted off, whatever. Now it's just a rigid piece of metal that she's going to use, we can all assume, to try and kill Lo Sang. And unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to go well, and I'm really prepared at this point to be super pissed at this next episode. But anyways, moving on to the next frame, as I mentioned, this is the piece of drain cover that she has. She has it in this meeting with Lo Sang. I think she's definitely prepared to use it if she has to, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what comes of it. Going to the next one, we just have him trying to, again, get her to relate to him, get her to understand his point of view and just everything that he's trying to accomplish. Even though how short-sighted it may be, he honestly believes that he's doing right, that it's for the better of mankind, that this will bring them out of the apocalypse that they've been in for over a decade now, and just he is ready to die on this hill, or just something's going to go wrong to convince him otherwise. Now here's where we left off with Madame Genet and all these people in the last episode. This is where everybody's going to be mowed down. We've seen that in the trailer. This is where she brings in that chain gun, mows everybody down, and starts injecting people with that serum to make them resurrect as these super walkers. And we see that she saw through Carol's ruse and throws her in this mix of these people. And of course, Carol is going to fake her way out of it and find a way to get out of it. And she, from what the trailer is, we saw her go down as they opened up, but she moved her way behind other people to shield herself because she knew that any other way probably would result in her death. But I'm anxious to see how she exactly gets out of this, because they're still in that big open field or what have you that's outside of the nest, and there's not really, I don't think, too many places to run to, but I could be wrong. But how she's going to make it to Daryl, if they're even going to reunite in this next episode, or what the plan is. And as we see here, this is that moment where she's trying to inch her way behind other people to use them as a human shield, because she really doesn't have any other choice at this point. Then this is where they open up on them, and they're just showing no mercy, and they're ready to sacrifice people. And these people, I think, were led to believe one thing, but then brought into this situation, and it all ends for them right here. And this is that same scene where we see them actively being mowed down, and just they're being used as cannon fodder, basically, because they're going to lead the charge into the nest. Their walker corpses are, anyways, as they're all juiced up with this serum. Here's Carol down amongst those people trying to stay quiet, and like I said, I'm interested to see how she gets out of this. Is there going to be some interference coming from the nest because of what's going on in there, or just what's happening that she gets the opportunity to jump up and take off, or just make her way out of this pile of people? Then we have Genet here, just very pleased with herself. She has no mercy. We got a little bit of her backstory. She just, I don't know, maybe she has this victim's mentality, being a janitor in that museum, being mistreated and talked down to and everything, and then just rising to power after everything went to shit. And she just has very little sympathy for anybody or anything. I mean, she's willing to take out a child because he poses a threat to her rising regime and everything. And so I'm just interested to see, what's going to happen with her as far as her downfall, or what comes of just everything that she's trying to accomplish, because she just is in this mindset where she is in the right and everyone else is in the wrong. Then we get a shot of Daryl here suffering many beatings from the people within the Union of Hope, trying to get information out of him, trying to just, I think, make an example of him for the most part now. But he's still chained up, and he's still chained up when everything kind of goes to hell and the nest is being flooded with these super walkers and just everything that's going to go down, leading up to the point where this kid or whoever it is gets to Daryl trying to seek some kind of shelter, and he's hiding with him, and this is how Daryl gets out, obviously, because we saw it in multiple trailers. And we see Lo Sang here with a cut on his face, so we can see that Isabel lunged at him, or took an opportunity and slashed his face with that piece of metal, because we can also see what I believe is his little sidekick there in the background, this woman that we've just seen in the background for the most of her appearances on screen, whispering in his ear, just being this voice in his head, trying to convince him that everything he's doing is completely right, and just she is, I don't know, there's something strange about her as far as, there's been the big conspiracy, or the big theory anyways, that she could possibly be a CRM spy, but at this point, I think they're done with the CRM story, one way or the other. And I don't think we're going to see any references to it within the Daryl Dixon spinoff. Probably not in Dead City either. Whether or not they revisit that part of the story, or they're just completely done with it at this point, I just don't know. But I really don't think that's the case here. I think she's part of some other group, or she just is a fanatic in her own right. And then moving on here, we see them lighting up a cannon. And we saw this again in the trailer where they blow that door. And this is where poor Condron, being in the shape he's in, he's probably welcoming death at this point, but he's being used as bait after they resurrect all these super walkers to go after him and lead them into the nest to flood the place, to just tear everyone and everything apart and just be totally merciless in the whole situation. Because here is that scene where they blow the door, and we can see Condron, even though he's kind of out of frame, this is him strapped to the back of this dune buggy, basically, and they're going to drive this in, and they're going to use him as bait to lead these walkers in, because they're going to be in there with such fury and such just nastiness, basically. And they're going to tear him and the whole place apart. It's going to be a mess. Then we got this scene that we have seen multiple times where Daryl has this kid rush in there to close that door behind him and kind of find some safe space or whatever to get away from what's happening out there. And Daryl, just without saying a word, raises his cuffed hand and it's like, "I'm your only shot, kid, so you better take it." And obviously he does, because here's another shot within that shot of him with the keys. And obviously he's going to use it because he is in no shape or anything to defend himself. So he's going to take Daryl's help, because he's offering it up regardless of what's going on. Anyways, there's the snips for the trailer that I got. Next episode looks really good. I'm really excited to see this battle and just what happens as far as what will be the point that Carol and Daryl reunite. What will happen with Isabel, because I really think they're setting up her death, and this is why we don't see her in any promotional material, or not really promotional, I guess, at this point, but just any sneak peeks or behind-the-scenes stuff, paparazzi, that we've been getting from Season 3, we've just seen Carol and Daryl, and I think this is a good reason why I don't think she makes it past this episode. I think something is going to happen where she tries to get at Lo Sang, or she tries to get away, and it just completely goes south, and I think she ends up dead because of it. And, from those paparazzi shots and everything, we haven't seen Laurent either. I just wonder if maybe he doesn't die. Maybe he stays behind to rebuild the Union of Hope after Lo Sang's taken out of power and this other little chick at his side is gone too. I'm not 100% sure, but that's kind of my guess, just because we haven't seen him in any behind-the-scenes stuff that people have been getting. And they're not really, I think they're working to the point to get Daryl home, but they're going to make it definitely take a while, because we're getting a whole new cast of characters for Season 3. A lot of new actors were announced a little over a month ago or so. But I'm interested to see, what comes of everything that we're getting ready to get into, that we're already halfway through Season 2, and we're probably in for another long wait for Season 3. But anyways, guys, that is my breakdown, my thoughts about the next episode. If you enjoyed them, please be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. So take care. Bye.